Hi, guys. Happy Sunday. How are you guys doing? I hope you are doing well. I have been running errands all day and packing up this apartment to move, guys, and I'm pretty much packed. Besides a few odds and ends or whatever. I've done all my washing. I've done all my laundry. I've packed my stuff. My movers come on Saturday at 9 a.m. So yeah, I had to get a lot done. This weekend was just wrapping up the final, bits and pieces or whatever. But I had to come on here and give you guys his word. God has been speaking to me. He spoke to me so much in the wee hours of this morning about so many different things. Um, but I want to release this word that I had, this dream that the Lord gave me on March the 19th. I had this dream March the 19th and I understood it, but I really did not. Y'all know the Lord speaks to me a lot in parables. So when God gives me a vision or a dream, or he speaks to my heart about something, sometimes it's straightforward, but sometimes I have to sit there with the Lord and I'm like, what is this about? Um, like what do you mean by this? So I had this dream on March the 19th. And in this dream, I don't first of all, I don't know what I'm going to title this message or this word from the Lord. Um I don't know what the title is going to be, but if you're watching this now, there's a title attached to this word, but I don't know what it's going to be. Um but again, this dream the Lord gave me on March the 19th. And in the dream, I could see this T-Mobile building, right? It's like I'm looking at this T-Mobile building, and this T-Mobile building is built out of dark brown brick. It's like a dark brown brick building, and it says T-Mobile on it. I know a lot of you guys that watch this ministry, you're from another country. But I think T-Mobile is everywhere. But if you don't know what T-Mobile is, it's a phone company. It's a cell phone company, right? So anyway, I'm looking at this building in the dream, and it's a brick T-Mobile building. It's like a brown brick building. And on the building it says like Fort Bend, right? And I could see written on this sign, this is where it started. My face is itching, Holy Spirit. I can see on this sign, this is how it started and this is how it's going, right? This is how it started and this is how it's going. And I knew in the dream, like as I'm looking at this sign in this building, that there was a love connection, right? And again, the sign said, this is how it started, or actually, no, it said, "This is where it started, and this is how it's going." This is where it started, and this is how it's going. And remember, I could see Fort Bend written on like the T-Mobile building or on like a separate sign, right? And that was pretty much the end of the dream. So when I woke up, I kind of had a feeling of what the Lord was trying to speak to me in this moment, but I wasn't really sure, right? I needed the Lord to clarify, what are you showing me in this dream? Like, what is it about? But I woke up kind of knowing what it was about, but not really sure. And you guys know that if I'm not sure of what the Lord is speaking to me, whether he's speaking to me to my heart about something, whether I get a vision about something, or he speaks to me in a dream about something, if I'm not 100% sure of what the Lord is saying to me, I won't say anything. I have to wait and sit on that word. So that's what I did. And in the meantime, I tested the word, right? So I'm like, Lord, is there like a T-Mobile store? Let me actually back up. I live off of Fort Bend Road, right? Fort Bend Road is a really long road in Katy, Texas. I live off of Fort Bend Road. So I'm looking up T-Mobile stores and I'm finding like the T-Mobile stores that are in like a brick building. Cause I'm like, God, is there like a T-Mobile store that you want me to go to? Like, is there someone there that you're wanting me to see? Is there something you're wanting me to see? Right. So I tested that. I tested the Lord in what he gave me. And I went into a T-Mobile store that's brick, that's on in Fort Bend, because Fort Bend is also a county in Katy, Texas. I believe like some people live in Fort Bend County. Or let me actually, because y'all know I'm not from Texas. I've been here since 2019 in different parts of Texas, but I'm still learning. Um, so yeah, okay, I was right. So Fort Bend is also a county for some people that actually live in Katy, Texas. Their county is Fort Bend County. My county is not Fort Bend County, but I live off of Fort Bend Road. So I went and I Googled T-Mobiles because I wanted to see what T-Mobile is in Fort Bend area or off of Fort Bend Road that's brick like the Lord showed me in my dream. I'm like, is there someone in here you want me to see? Is there something in here you want me to see? So I literally went into a T-Mobile store, right? And I did my due diligence. Faith without works is dead, right? So because the Lord wasn't giving me much from the dream. Okay. Faith without works is dead. I'm like, okay, let me put in the work. Went into T-Mobile store, the brick building that I saw in the dream. I didn't like, there was nothing there. Right. So yesterday, uh, the Lord made everything click. And what he was saying by this dream, guys, is that many of you that are in a waiting season, like in a waiting period, or should I say, and you're excited about God bringing your love story together, whether you are male or female, right? Um, God has put it in a lot of our hearts to desire marriage and to desire relationship and to have that God ordained marriage that God ordained for us, and that's a desire that he's put in our hearts. And many of you feel like as God is relocating you or moving you as you're walking into this new season, walking into this new area, or era, that everything is going to happen as you walk into this new place that God is sending you to, as you go into this new location or whatever the new is for you. And whoever this word is for, God is saying this connection, whatever connection it is that he has for you, okay, whatever he's promised you as far as your love story. And it's so important to let God write your love story and do not write it on your own because you will be highly disappointed. But the Lord is saying that for many of you, and this is not for everybody, it's going to happen right where you are. That is how it's going to start. It's going to start exactly where you are right now. You're not waiting until he moves you into this new, until he relocates you, until he does these things for God to open this door. For many of you guys, the connection is happening exactly where you are now. It's going to happen there, and that's where it's going to start, and how it's going is it's going to be a strong connection. It's going to be built on a solid foundation because it's built on the foundation of the Lord. Okay, y'all know God speaks to me in parables. When he showed me the T-Mobile store in the dream, T-Mobile is a phone company that I have. A phone prophetically, normally in prophetic dreams, a phone will represent a connection of some sort, right? A phone is what we use. A cell phone is what I use to call my friends, to call my family, to call my loved ones, right? Like it connects me to other people, right? T-Mobile, again, is a phone company that I personally have, right? So in this dream, I see this T-Mobile store and it has Fort Bend written on the building or on a sign. I live off of Fort Bend Road, right? And I see another sign that says, this is where it started and this is how it's going. Okay. Translation: the Lord is saying the connection for many of you guys when it comes to the person that he's bringing into your life, it's going to happen in the place that you're currently in. Okay, I know it's so easy for you to think, okay, it hasn't happened yet, so it's help me get these words out. I'm tired, Lord. Guys, I almost called you guys Lord. I'm tired, guys. Can y'all tell? But it's so easy for us to think that something is going to happen or this new thing is going to happen in this new place that God is taking us to, right? Since it hasn't happened for all this time, it must be about to happen when I go to this new location, when I move to this new job, when I move to this new place, when I'm elevated to this place, right? And for many of you guys, the Lord is saying it's going to happen exactly where you are. The reason why the Lord showed me the brick building in the dream, how he spoke this to my heart, is because the brick building represented the rock, as in capital T, capital R. He is the rock, and scripture speaks of this. He tells us in Psalms 127 that the builders labor in vain if they try to build a house on their own, right? A house is only built and solid and firm if it's built on him, right? He also tells us in Matthew 7:25 what happens to a house that's built on sand versus a house that's built on the rock. He is the rock, right? He's capital T, capital R. He's not just a rock, he's the rock. So unless that thing, that relationship, that job, that career, that whatever we try to do in life, unless it's built on God, it will not stand. So the Lord was showing me T-Mobile to represent a connection, but he was showing me in the dream the brick building to represent a solid connection. And he showed me Fort Ben in the dream because that's where I currently am. So he was showing it. It's a parable. So he was showing a place that I'm currently in order for me to be able to relay the message to you all, to whoever this is for. And he's saying this strong connection, this connection to this other person that he has ordained to be in your life, this divine connection is going to happen exactly where you are. That is where it's going to start, and how it's going to go is it's going to be built on a solid foundation. So it's going to be firm, meaning it's going to last. Okay, and I pray that you guys are catching this, because y'all know I have a hard time explaining stuff. It's like when God speaks it to my heart, when he speaks it to me, I'm like, God, I hear you, I understand you, but when I have to explain it, I'm like, is this making sense, y'all? Because this walk, this prophetic calling, this prophetic walk, it's not a cakewalk, okay? But he's saying, again, for many of you, that connection, that divine connection, as in when it's a divine connection, it's a connection set up by him. Do not awaken love before it's time, right? Song of Solomon tells us this. Do not awaken love before it's time. Anything you awaken before it's time, it's not going to turn out right, right? So whatever you prayed for, whatever you're waiting on, it's important to allow God to awaken this thing. But for who this word is for, the Lord is saying you're not going to have to relocate or go into this new place in order to get this thing that you've been praying for, as far as this divine connection. It's going to happen exactly where you are. That's where it's going to start. And how it's going is going to be good because it's a divine connection that's coming together, and it's built on God. The brick building in the dream, again, represented a solid foundation. So you're thinking everything comes with you walking through the new doors, with you relocating, with movement. And God is saying for many, it's happening exactly where you are. That's where it's going to start, and how it's going to go. It's going to last because it's built on a solid foundation. It's built on him. Okay. And I'm going to give you guys these two verses before I hop off, and it's Psalms 127 verse 1, and I'm going to read part A of verse 1, which is the first part of verse 1 in Psalms 127. I'm reading from the New King James Version. It says, unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. Translation: if it's not built by God, if he's not the one that's doing it, if you're not including him in it, whatever you try to build and bring together, it's going to fall. It's going to falter. God is the rock, and he's the only foundation that's firm. He's the only foundation that will stand the test of whatever comes its way. Okay. I'm also going to read Matthew 7, verse 25 from the ESV version. Excuse me. It says, and the rain fell and the floods came and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall because it had been founded on the rock. The rock in this verse is referring to the Lord. If it's built on him, regardless of what storm comes its way, what storms, high winds, rain, whatever can beat on that thing, if the connection is built on God, it is going to stand. If the marriage is built on God, it is going to stand. If the company is built on God, it is going to stand. Whatever is built on God, nothing can tear it apart. It's built on the strongest foundation there is. Okay, so that's the word. The Lord is saying that connection, that divine connection is starting exactly where you are. You're not going to have to wait until you move into this new place, into this new location, and walk through these new doors that God is opening for you in order for this divine connection to come together. It's starting exactly where you are. So this is not a prophetic word or a prophetic message for everybody. Take me to God, take the word to God, sit with him and let him give you more revelation. I am just the vessel. He speaks to me. He tells me what it is that he's referring to. I release the message and that's that, okay? That's all we do as a prophetic voice is release what God is putting on our hearts, but it's up to you to take that message, take that word, and go sit with God and let him give you more revelation. This isn't for everybody. All of us are in a different season. Not everybody's in a season where they're walking into a divine connection. Some people are going through a stripping, through a pruning, and being remolded and all the things, and that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. But take this word to God if you feel that this is for you and let him give you more on what he means by this. But the Lord is saying you're not going to have to go into this new place for this divine connection to come together. It's coming together exactly where you are. Okay. So that is the word, guys. I love you. I hope you have a great Sunday. Let me get up off here before I keep coughing because y'all know the pneumonia is still pneumonian, okay? I don't even know if that made sense. It's this pneumonia is just pneumoniaing right now, okay? Like it's been rough, but I feel great. So I'm gonna get up off here, but that's the word, guys. He's saying the connection is gonna come together exactly where you are. So stop thinking you have to have this big, huge change of events for God to bring everything together. God is a God that works on his own timing. His timing is not our timing. And sometimes when we're not getting things as fast as we think it's supposed to happen, we think it's not going to happen, or we think something drastic, God is going to do something big and drastic for everything to come together. But that's not always the case. The Lord is saying the connection is going to happen and it's going to be a solid connection. It's going to be built on a solid foundation, but it's going to happen exactly where you are. So I love you. I hope you have a great day and we'll talk soon. Bye, guys.